Hello and welcome back. Today's topic is my story and the last 10 years. That's quite a big topic, but I just want to preface a video that we're going to watch quickly. And I know I said we wouldn't watch a lot of videos, but this one is kind of fitting because it is 10 years old. And this is the video that triggered me to quit my job at the time and decide to move into tech. And I had been watching stuff like this to kind of reprogram my mind, which is a topic we'll get into again another day. But I watched this over and over, and to give you some backstory on it, I had, through my 20s, I was always into music, but I studied sound engineering and I went to college for it, and I was looking to work in that, and I opened my own recording studio called the Hit Palace. It was running for about 10 years through my 20s, and at about just after I got the sound engineering qualification in college, I went to work for a hearing aid company, and because it was loosely related, right? So some of the sound engineering and the sound theory could be applied to that field. And I worked in it for a few years on front desk, and then I moved into the office where I was, servicing hearing aids and doing service calls for people. And then finally I was out in the field, fitting the hearing aids to people. And while there was some technical aspect and a little bit of overlap with the sound engineering, it wasn't as technical and focused on that as I would have hoped. It was more sales focused, and I'm not a sales focused person really. I prefer to be technical. Now, while I say I did have some good times in it, and I was able to sell, but I did really prefer, I really do prefer to be technical and in the tech space. So yeah, one day I was, after the point where I had been doing the hearing aid fitting and it was more sales, and I decided it wasn't what I wanted. And for a short time I was doing the free hearing tests in the mobile testing clinics. And I remember this day because it's 10 years ago next month, in February 2014, that this happened. I was in the mobile testing clinic in Meath, not too far from here actually, in the car park of a supermarket. And people were coming in throughout the day and having their hearing tested. And then it got a bit quiet for a while, so I was waiting. Then I ended up looking at this next video that I'm going to show you. And after I finished watching it, I phoned my wife and I told her I was going to quit. And she said, go for it. So I did. I phoned and told them that was it. After that day, I wasn't going back. I returned it's a mobile, like a van truck. I returned that to the office, and I never went back. And then that year, my wife actually, in her own business, won an award for the best salon in Dublin. It was a great year, an interesting year. I did wedding photography through most of that year, while I wasn't in, because I'd been in that previous job for 8 years. And during that year in between, I was trying to figure out what exactly it was I wanted to do, whether it be in tech or photography or entrepreneur through that business. So I did the photography for a few months, and then towards the end of the year, I decided I had to do something else, to earn more money. And at one point for about 10, 12 weeks, I was even involved with this frozen food company where I was driving vans around, sometimes in Dublin, but mostly in the country. And it was frozen food and frozen fish and steak and meat. And I was trying to sell those things again. Why did I go into sales? And it wasn't for me. I was doing that for 10, 12 weeks. And I did okay for a little while, but it just wasn't me. And I said to myself, I have to do something else. I have to figure it out. And one day I saw a network engineering van pulling up outside across the road of the house we were living at the time. And I said, I've always been technical. I've always known this stuff and tech and computers. So network engineer just seemed to click with me at the time. And so I went onto the computer and I looked up network engineering training courses. I found something and went into the Cisco training and got onto a government-sponsored course, and it was a 12-week course, and I finished first in the class. And then 2 weeks later, I was working in tech, and that was in 2015 where I got my first tech job. And since then, just gone from strength to strength and better to better. It's been amazing. And yeah, so this is the video that triggered me and caused me to, or not caused it, but it was kind of the thing that pushed me over the line to go ahead and do it, to make the decision and quit that day in the car park of that shopping center in the mobile testing clinic. So let's have a look at it. And I've watched it probably in the last 10 years over 1,000 times. So here it is. You can, if I switch, just looking at it here, I can tell you it is 10 years old, and it's by a channel called Mateus M. I've saved a few more, but the video is called Dream. It's a motivational video. So here it is. Check it out.
You know what that dream is that you have. I don't care how disappointing it might have been as you've been working toward that dream. That dream that you're holding in your mind, that it's possible. That some of you already know that it's hard. It's not easy. It's hard changing your life. That in the process of working on your dreams, you are going to incur a lot of disappointment, a lot of failure, a lot of pain. There are moments when you're going to doubt yourself and say, God, why is this happening to me? I'm just trying to take care of my children and my mother. I'm not trying to steal or rob from anybody. Why did this have to happen to me? For those of you that have experienced some hardships, don't give up on your dream. Their rough times are going to come, but they have not come to stay. They have come to pass.
Greatness is not this wonderful, esoteric, elusive, God-like feature that only the special among us will ever taste. It's something that truly exists in all of us.
It's very important for you to believe that you are the one. Most people, they raise a family, they earn a living, and then they die. They stop growing, they stop working on themselves, they stop stretching, they stop pushing themselves. That a lot of people like to complain, but they don't want to do anything about their situation. And most people don't work on their dreams. Why? One is because of fear. The fear of failure. What if things don't work out? And the fear of success. What if they do and I can't handle it? These are not risk takers.
You spend so much time with other people. You spend so much time trying to get people to like you. You know other people more than you know yourself. You studied them. You know about them. You want to hang out like them. You want to be just like them. And you know what? You've invested so much time in them, you don't know who you are. I challenge you to spend time by yourself.
It's necessary that you get the losers out of your life if you want to live your dream. But people who are running toward their dreams, life has a special kind of meaning.
When you become the right person, what you do is you start separating yourself from other people. You begin to have a certain uniqueness. As long as you're following other people, as long as you're being a copycat, you will never, ever be the best copycat in the world. But you will be the best you could be. I'm challenging you to define your value.
That everybody won't see it. That everybody won't join you, that everybody won't have the vision. It's necessary to know that.
If you're wondering who that is, the voice speaking, that's the voice of Les Brown, and the previous voice is Eric Thomas. This is Les Brown.
People who are unstoppable and unreasonable, people who are refusing to leave life just as it is and who want more. The people that are living their dream of finding winners to attach themselves to. The people that are living their dreams are the people that know that if it's going to happen, it's up to them.
If you want to be more successful, if you want to have and do stuff you ain't never done before, number two, I'm asking you to invest in you.
It's also a really good movie that was on screen there. It's Will Smith, The Pursuit of Happiness. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's based on a true story.
Being a victim. And even though you face disappointments, you have to know within yourself.
That's actually from a different movie, this shot here, but
I must see it for myself.
The Pursuit of Happiness is a great one to watch.
This is what I believe, and I'm willing to die for it. Period.
No matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it.
I want to represent an idea. I want to represent possibilities.
And some of you right now, you want to be, you know what I'm saying? You want to go to the next level. I want to counsel. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a doctor. Listen to me. You can't get to that level. You can't get to the level economically where you want to be until you start investing in your mind. You're not reading books. I'm challenging y'all to go to conferences. I dare you to invest time. I dare you to be alone. I dare you to spend an hour getting to know yourself. When you become who you are, when you become the person that you were created to be, designed to be who you were designed to be, when you become an individual, what you do is you take yourself and you start separating yourself from other people. I challenge you to get to a place.
Also another great film with Russell Crowe, A Beautiful Mind.
Trying to make them happy because you're trying to blow up. You're trying to get to the next level. I need you to invest in your mind. Invest in your mind.
Based on the life story of John Nash.
You're still talking about your goal, but you have not done anything. Just take the first step.
That you can make your parents proud, you can make your school proud, you can touch millions of people's lives, and the world will never be the same again because you came this way. Don't let nobody steal your dreams. After we face a rejection and a no, or we have a meeting and no one shows up, or somebody say, you can count on me, and they don't.
We all know what this one is. This is Rocky running up a mountain.
The car's repossessed. Nobody believes in you. You've lost again and again and again. The lights are cut off, but you're still looking at your dream, reviewing it every day, and say to yourself, it's not over until I win. You can live your dream.
So that's called Dream, and that's the channel there, Mateus. And that last line, it's not over until I win. That's gone through my head so many times. But I just keep watching it over and over, and some other ones. But it reminded me of, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. That was a line in there from another one on this channel, and it's from a Rocky movie. There's a lot of struggle that you have to go through, a lot, and it's part of it. You have to embrace it all the way through. So after I watched that video and I moved, and I went through the network engineering training, the Cisco training, and got my first IT job. You know, things were still hard. It was the first tech job, and I stayed at that for a couple of years. But all the way during that time, I was only after just qualifying as a CCNA network engineer, so Cisco CCNA and the CCDA in that 12 weeks training certification that I did before that job. But I continued on over the next 2 years to do the professional level Cisco, so Cisco CCNP. And in all honesty, I would guess I went into the exam center, had to be 10 times. Now there were probably, can't remember the number of the exams, but the professional level had three parts to pass. And the CCNA had equally 3 parts to pass. So I'd say I failed as many times as I passed. If there were 6, I probably failed 4, 5, maybe 6, but I felt like I failed those exams as many times as I passed. But in the end, I got the certification because I kept going. I kept going in, kept studying. There were hours and hours and hours in the evening, all the way through from 2014 into 2015 when I got my first tech job, right through into, it was 2018, must have been when I got the certification finally, the professional level. And I did that in like 18 months, which normally it takes a few years for people. I don't know, people might say different if they know what I'm talking about, but I went through the, it's called, there's a route exam, a switch, so routing and switching, and then troubleshooting. So I did the route exam, the switch exam, and the troubleshoot exam inside 18 months. With some failures in between, like I failed a few times, but I kept going until I got them all. And then once you have all three, you're certified. And from there, I was able to progress on to the next thing. I was able to go in and I was able to become a network engineer. So from 2015, for a couple of years, I worked for a great company in tech support. And then after getting the certificate, well, I had one part left of that professional level certification left to get, which was I think it was the troubleshooting part. And I moved to an amazing company that I'm still there now. The best company I've ever worked for. And I moved there and again into a tech support role. And even during that whole year, I was still studying. I was still studying to try and get that last part of the professional level exam. And by the end of the year, I got it. And I wanted to be a network engineer. That was the kind of goal, because we were trying to push to get a house, right? We had, our daughter was born in 2010. And then the focus is we need to get ourselves a house. And over the years in Ireland, the requirements from the banks and the government and how difficult it was to get a house, it just kept changing. At one point, I needed to be on a certain salary per year to get what we wanted at the time, the cost of the houses. And by the time I got to that level, everything had changed. The banks weren't allowing you to borrow anything more than 3.5 times. So it meant that I had to keep going up and up and up. And it was like chasing your tail. It was never going to get there. It was a dangling carrot, promises that you could get it, but it just took so much longer. Or we could have, if it hadn't changed, I probably would have bought a house, well, 10 years ago. Or maybe something like that. But it did change. So I ended up getting the qualification then in Cisco, which was probably the best thing I ever did. So tech is kind of an ever-changing thing. If you sit on a qualification that you got 10 years ago or 20 years ago from college, a degree, it can be outdated so quickly. Now, the fundamentals might still be there, but the information can be outdated quite quickly, and the technologies that are being used and the other companies that have come into the tech space. So I did start a 4-year computer science degree back then after I'd qualified, or after I had that first Cisco qualification. But I quickly realized that 4 years spent, for me anyway, 4 years would have been spent at the age that I was, 35, going into the first tech job, that I would have spent quite a long time trying to get where I needed to get. So in tech, I decided to go the certification route. And that's what the Cisco stuff was. And when I finally got that CCNP, Cisco professional qualification, and I was in the company I'm in now, but unfortunately the position that I was looking for of network engineer wasn't something available to me, so I left the company and I went to work for another company in a data center, and for 5 months I was there, and it was great. I thought it was what I needed. Now financially it didn't improve there, but I had the title, I was there. But again, it wasn't getting me close to the goal. It wasn't getting us close to having our house. And again, I'd left my favorite company I'd ever worked for. So 5 months later, when I saw a role that was right for me in the original company, I went back, and I've been there ever since. And it's been amazing. And it's, I have to say, it's been an amazing journey through all of that. And, from there I progressed, started as an engineer and moved up into management, and just never looked back. But the struggle all the way through, there were so many challenges, so many hurdles to overcome. And even in the last, we got our house less than a year ago. You know, I would have expected that like 5 years ago to happen, but life, everything happens in between. Circumstances outside of your control. But all you can do is work on the things that you can control, and it's how you react to those things. If you say, that's it, I'm never going to get it, it's not for me, it's too hard, everything has changed, everything is against me. If you feel like that, it can become overwhelming. So you have to decide that I'm just not going to quit. I'm not going to stop until I get there. And even when I get there, I'm going to go straight past it and on to the next and keep climbing. And that's always been my way. But it really is important through all of that to appreciate the process, to appreciate the things that you learn, to enjoy the process, because you could find yourself, and I've always had my head in the future a lot, thinking about the future, thinking about the achievements that are down the line. But I'm trying to learn, let's say I haven't fully learned it, I'm trying to learn more to appreciate the journey, the now, the present, the process. And it's not all about the destination of each milestone. It's great when you get to that milestone and you achieve it, you set a goal and you hit it, you achieve the goal. That's a great rewarding feeling. The more you do that, the more confidence you build up in yourself. And it gives you confidence to move on and set bigger goals. And the thing is, it's never a straight road. It's never just up and up and up, straight upward trajectory. You have lots and lots of speed bumps along the way. And I certainly had quite a few. And it can be to do with your career, your health, your personal life, the external factors that influence the government changing rules and you're trying to go for house, the banks, all of these things. But you can't blame those, really. This is what you have to work with. These are the things available to you, so you have to figure out how to make it work. And in a way, it's like water flowing downhill. No matter what comes in front of it, whether it's a stream or a river, if water starts flowing downhill and a dam breaks, it's going down no matter what. And you have to kind of think of yourself like that. You're going through the obstacle or around the obstacle or whatever you need to do. No matter what, you're going to get there. You're going to get to your destination. Ethically, of course, without being a horrible person, but working on yourself and trying to do better and improve every day. I think that's what I look for every day. So that's a brief touch on my story over the last few years, 10 years, but it kind of began 10 years ago in a way with that video, and with our daughter being born, 13 years ago. It began before that, really. But I just remembered seeing that video recently, and it triggered that thought in my brain the last 10 years has seen massive change. And it really, the benefit to it all is what you learn up here. So even if everything that you achieved was removed or taken away, or you had to start again, it's what you learned from the process that is the big win, that you could do it again. And time is the real asset. Time is the real challenge, and time is the real thing that's against us all. We never have enough time. We can get enough of everything else. We can work for more money, but we can't work for more time. So we have to try and manage our time as best we can, and to be able to make use of your time the way that you want and be efficient with your time, because time is the one commodity and the one asset that when it runs out, it's gone. That's it. You're done. So use your time wisely. And, try and be efficient and effective with your time management, and appreciate the time that you have with everybody. It's sometimes difficult to do with everything that will be on your plate day to day, but time really is our most valuable asset. commodity. And when it's gone for good. So appreciate the journey and try and set goals that align with that. My story, and obviously this is an ongoing topic and there's a lot more to this. That video is just something I wanted to touch on. So I'll go into more detail on some other things later on, but I think we're going to stop it there. It's like 25 minutes into this video. Hopefully I didn't ramble and become nonsensical, which can happen. And later on, I'll probably, as I mentioned before, try to have the teleprompter set there with the notes up in front of it so I can plan these things out. But that's just something I wanted to have a little chat about and a little look through. The personal development topic is coming up next. And so I want to put some specific things in place. Again, I mentioned like resources, videos, books, and things that I've used over the years to kind of help me change the way I was thinking. Because initially when I wanted to go into music a long time ago, I used to believe that talent would get you there. And that's all you had. If you just had talent, you'd get there. And how wrong was I? So wrong. The truth is that hard work beats talent every day. Absolutely every day. There's lots of cliche phrases on this, hard work beats talent when talent fails to work. And that is true. If you don't put the work in, doesn't matter how much talent you have, you won't get there. There might be a 1% chance of somebody that just has talent and no work ethic, but most likely if you have no work ethic, you're going nowhere. So it doesn't matter how smart you are, doesn't matter how talented you are, if you don't have a very strong work ethic, you won't get where you want to get. You won't achieve the things you've set out for yourself. So work ethic comes first. Hard work beats talent and smarts every day of the week. So work hard. That's the big leveler, is outwork anybody. You can outwork anybody. You can just put in more time, more effort. Just put the work in and you'll get it. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the strongest. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the most talented. You just have to be the hardest worker. And if you put in that work, you'll get to where you want to get. So yeah, that's it for today. We're going to go into some of those personal development and learning topics later on. But this was what I wanted to say today because it's coming up on the 10-year anniversary of when I quit that job and moved into tech. And what an eventful 10 years it's been. And I'm grateful for all of it. And there's more to come. So we'll get into that next time. Thanks everyone for joining. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.